So you clicked to find the best AI agents for marketing. I'll give you exactly that, 6 agents that every D2C business should build if they want to stay ahead. Not simple task bots, but better than human operators that actually improve outputs, not just efficiency. I've been obsessing over this. I've spent months documenting my workflows, mapping SOPs, and scoping how these agents plug into real teams, all with one question in mind. Where can AI deliver not just more speed, but better results? And I believe these 6 agents are the future. I'm Austin Bitzas, a D2C growth marketer. On this channel, I share exact playbooks I'm building to scale brands faster. And if you stay until the end of this video, I'll share a killer business idea. It's something I believe could realistically make mid 5 figures in profit per month if executed well. But I'll save that to the end. So first, let's dive into these 6 AI agents. Let's be honest, most marketers live inside endless Slack pings, meetings with no agendas, endless email threads, and a bunch of bookmarked dashboards that they still require someone to at least partially or manually update them. You spend a majority of your time just keeping things afloat rather than where you should be spending your time, the majority of your time focusing on creating new growth. Escaping busy work matters. Of course it matters. But the real edge is better output, clearer insights, sharper creative, faster fixes, smarter experiments. And that's how you beat competitors and also accelerate your own career. Think of AI agents like a highly skilled employee. The difference, they work 24/7. They never need a break. They can scale across multiple tasks at once. But like any great employee, it needs clarity and direction. So picture this loop. You hit a problem, you solve it manually, you write these steps in an SOP or a standard operating procedure, you turn that SOP into an AI agent. You repeat it in the next area of your business. So it goes problem, process, SOP, AI agent, and then you repeat that process. That loop is how we turn today's pain points into your business advantage. Now, let's talk about the 6 agents that give you the most leverage in a D2C business. Agent number 1 is the market research agent. So the first AI agent is all about category awareness. Brands that stay scrappy, know their category inside and out, and track competitors closely always out-compete the ones that don't. Here's how this agent works. You start by seeding a list of competitor domains, their social handles, retailers that they sell through, say Amazon, Target, Walmart. You subscribe to the email list in a dedicated inbox, so every campaign is archived. So some of the seeding and making these lists are still better when a human does it, especially when you really know your category inside and out. But once this is set, the agent takes over. And you can set this up in an automated process. Let's say you own an advertising agency and you just want one click and it can pull all that for you. So there's different levels to this. But on a regular cadence, it pulls traffic, keyword data from SimilarWeb or Ahrefs, let's say, what pages drive growth, where they rank, and which sources are gaining share. On the ads end, it pulls ads and creative from SimilarWeb or Meta Ads Library, TikTok Creative Center, or Google Ads Transparency Center. And now the big question is, what referrals and what affiliates are your competitors running? Well, this AI agent can pull directly from referral reports if you're still using SimilarWeb, or scraped affiliate hubs like Impact Share, Sale, Partner Stack, or you name the network. We can integrate that into a AI agent. And now in terms of email and funnel flows from that dedicated inbox, it can look at the welcome series, the promos and the launches and the winbacks, and save them in a dedicated folder so you can see what your competitors are running and use that for possible inspiration. And then in the sense of this AI agent on brand and competitor mentions from tools like maybe Brandwatch or Brand24, so you can see what people are actually saying on Reddit, blogs, forums, and socials. It cleans and joins the data into one sheet or database, so everything lines up with timestamps to see changes over time. Then it answers the only questions that really matter. Where does the traffic come from and what's growing? Which affiliates or partners drive customers? And what ad angles do they repeat across channels? The other question would be, what does their funnel look like? Offers, bundles, post-purchase plays, and what's the conversation around the brand that's shaping perception? And then this AI agent delivers the output as what I'd call a dynamic swipe file, a short custom newsletter or Slack digest. You can scan weekly or monthly or however you set it up. It shows you across the top 3 to 5 brands you've been watching, the angles, the partners, the pages, the funnel moves, and even the chatter happening about them. So instead of hunting for inspiration or guessing what competitors are doing, you've got a live data-backed swipe file, always updated, always pointing to your next move. All right, so let's get on to agent number 2. This is the creative iteration AI agent. And this agent focuses on creative, which is one of the biggest growth levers for D2C brands, but also one of the hardest to systematize at scale. Right now, you'll probably pull inspiration in scattered ways. Maybe you save ads you see while scrolling, check the meta ads library, TikTok Creative Center, or forward yourself competitor emails. That's all useful, but it's fragmented and manual. This agent makes that process automatic. It scrapes ads and creative examples, organizes them, and builds a running swipe file. Over time, you don't just have inspiration, you have a database of competitor angles, hooks, and formats you can draw from at any point. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I already have a tool for that. Well, great. Then connect those tools API as an input into your AI agent. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like if you already have a process, you already have an SOP, the thing is to connect it into an AI agent, into basically a virtual AI team member. So let's continue because it goes even further. Using that swipe file, the agent clusters themes, maybe pain relief, comparison, social proof, authority, transformation, and builds an angle map for your category. You can immediately see which stories your competitors lean on most. From there, it generates creative briefs. Each brief lays out the promise, the hooks, supporting proof points, a suggested CTA or multiple suggested CPAs, and the right format to test, whether that's an outline or even exact ready-to-use scripts for a UGC video, a carousel, a short form video, or a story. Next, it takes those briefs and drops them into a creative sprint calendar. So maybe your team does weekly or bi-weekly or even monthly sprints. Whatever your cadence your team runs, the key is you're not scrambling for what to test. You've got a structured pipeline of creative ready, mapped out, and it's just on your team to decide which ones to approve. So finally, if you want the AI agent drafts first pass assets, maybe you can use tools like ArcAds, VO3, Nano Banana, Midjourney, HeyGen, you name it. There's a lot of tools out there, but the point isn't replacing your creative team. The point is giving them structure briefs and starter assets so they're not starting from zero. The output isn't more ads. It's a creative strategist in a box, a dynamic swipe file, mapped angles, briefs tied to a sprint calendar, and drafts to polish. It's a hybrid model. AI builds the structure, your team brings the final polish. And when creative sprints run this way, scaling becomes possible in a way it isn't when you're just guessing or reacting or just using simple tools like ChatGPT. When you have this systematized process and this AI agent, it makes systematizing scaling that much easier. All right, so agent number 3, performance protection AI agent. The third AI agent protects your performance. Here's the truth. Things will inevitably break. Not if, but when. Tracking goes down, a product feed fails, a landing page URL 404s, budgets overspend or underspend, ads get disapproved, a website update rolls through and suddenly a button stops working, or a compliance banner in one state quietly blocks a retargeting pixel from firing. And let's say for that specific scenario, because I've seen this happen before, it doesn't just block everything, but it's just enough that your retargeting pools start shrinking. Performance slowly goes downhill and nobody notices until like weeks later. At that point, the team is blaming the macro environment, competitors, or the ads themselves, when the real issue was technical the whole time. That's why the best teams already should have a QA process as well as daily checks and dashboards set up. But I guarantee things still slip through the cracks. This AI agent automates that loop. It connects into different ad platforms like Google Ads and Meta Ads. It connects with Shopify. It connects with your analytics dashboard. It continuously monitors key health metrics such as conversion rates, BAs, ROAS, your feed, your site load times, pixels firing. It even runs synthetic tests, almost like a VA clicking through your website every hour, checking if pages load, buttons work, and pixels actually fire. When something goes outside the normal boundaries, say conversion rate drops 25%, or a pixel stops firing in one state, or a page breaks, the agent flags it immediately. It sends a Slack alert with the issue, the size of the impact, and the first guess at the cause. From there, your team diagnoses it further, but you're diagnosing the same day, not weeks later. The point is simple. Performance will always break at some point. The brands that catch issues the same day protect their growth. The brands that don't watch their business quietly go downhill without realizing why. This agent makes sure you're in the first group. So the fourth AI agent is the Growth Marketing Analyst AI agent. And this is one of the biggest time savers and performance enhancers I could see in my own day-to-day right now as a growth marketer. Here's the pain point. Every week as a growth marketer or a channel owner, you need to deliver an update. What happened and why did it happen and what actions you already took and what actions you recommend next. You're pulling data from ad platforms like Meta or Google Ads, cross-referencing it with MTA data tools like Triple Whale, Northbeam, Rockerbox, diagnosing outputs from, say, Prescient AI, then layering in raw Shopify numbers along with aggregate company performance and macro trends, all while trying to stitch it together, compare timeframes, and make sense of it all. It's hours of work every week, and even then, you might miss a signal buried in the noise. This agent does about 80 to 90% of that work automatically. It connects into your stack, pulls the raw data, runs comparisons across timeframe, and starts packaging it up for you. But here's the key difference. It doesn't just spit out the numbers like dashboards you already have. It surfaces the insights that even a human analyst might not catch. Maybe a creative click-through rate quietly is dropping over a 3-month span, or a cohort of customers from one channel is showing higher LTV than you expected. These are the patterns a human analyst might just miss when pulling it manually, but the agent finds them and puts them in front of you. Then it tailors the output depending on who needs it. For you, the channel owner, it's as detailed as possible. Line items, ad groups, creative, performance, granular spend, and return. For, say, the director of growth or the head of growth, if you report up to them, it zooms out across channel trends, where margins leaked, and where spend should shift. For the executive team, it's the highlights, where growth came from, what risks exist, and the 2 or 3 key action items that the team is taking. And just like with other agents, you still do the final 10 to 20%. That's just the realistic nature of where we're at with AI agents today. You add judgment, experience, context, but you're starting with a package that's already stitched together, already telling a story. The result? You spend less time pulling data and more time making decisions. And often you end up with sharper insights than you would have ever found on your own. This agent is like having an analyst who not only saves you hours of work each week, but actually makes you a better growth marketer by surfacing insights you wouldn't have already caught. And this is the agent that I particularly am spending my time first building and working with contractors to build this agent because I find it the most useful. In terms of how I'm looking at this, well, I was already utilizing my own knowledge in these cross-platform insights. I had years worth of weekly notes that I used to train the algorithm on. On top of that, I started to use LLM models to get deeper insights into the notes that I was already doing and sharing with the teams that I was working with. And this is why I think this agent is the most important for a growth marketer in particular. Okay, so on to agent number 5. So the 5th agent is the CRO AI agent. One of the biggest bottlenecks in D2C growth outside of creative is CRO, because CRO is directly tied to the customer journey. And the whole point is removing friction points that stop people from buying. When you do it right, it's a win-win. The customer gets a smoother experience and the brand gets more revenue without spending more on ads. And I've done a deep dive into this before in a full CRO guide for D2C brands that's about 40 minutes long, walking through my exact CRO strategy as well as 20 actionable CRO tests that you can run. So I'll link that in the description and up on the screen at the end of this video if you want to dive deeper. But here's the bottleneck. You find a winning creative angle and you know that your landing page should match it. But building and testing takes weeks. By the time it's designed, developed, QA'd, and approved, the opportunity cost has been building. So this AI agent starts with inputs. Your team could drop screenshots of competitor pages or pages from different categories into a Figma board alongside your own swipe file of winning ads, landing pages. Meanwhile, the agent can scrap competitor sites and ads, pulling the fresh examples. Together, you get a much stronger foundation than relying on either one alone. So this agent collapses that timeline. So if that's already your process and your SOP, this agent and these agents that we're talking about all collapse the timeline and give better insights. So from there, the agent drafts page variants. It uses models like Claude or ChatGPT to generate copy options and tools like Replo to quickly assemble layouts. These aren't production ready on their own, but they give you testable drafts that your team can review, edit, and polish. And when you're ready to test, the agent can even prep experiments in tools like Convert or Optimizely. You still hit the final approve button, but the heavy lifting and setup is already done. So instead of spending weeks debating, your team has draft variants live in days. They can focus on interpreting results, refining hypotheses, and scaling winners, not wrestling with endless dev tickets. The output is speed and iteration. Your customer journey improves faster, friction points get removed sooner, and growth compounds. This agent doesn't replace your CRO team. It accelerates them. It turns CRO from a bottleneck into a growth engine. Okay, so agent number 6. The 6th AI agent is retention. Most D2C brands focus the majority of their time on acquisition. That's where the budget goes and that's where the attention goes. But with acquisition costs continually rising on platforms like Meta and Google, the real edge is on retention because the brand that can drive the higher LTV is the brand that can spend more to acquire customers. And in this game, the brand that can spend the most usually is the one that wins the most. So the agent focuses on exactly that, maximizing the value of the customers you've already acquired. So here's how it works. It connects into Shopify and Klaviyo, if you're using Klaviyo as your CRM, and or let's say Attentive, if you're using Attentive, then it surfaces the data that matters most. Churn risk customers who haven't purchased in, say, 30 to 60 days. High LTV cohorts who are ready for an upsell or subscription offers. Win back audiences who respond to urgency, discounts, or bundles. From there, the agent drafts campaigns, complete win back flows, post-purchase nurtures, promotional offers, and upsell sequences. It can A/B test subject lines and hooks. It can also generate new promo ideas, whether it's a bundle, discount, a seasonal campaign, or a loyalty play, all mapped to the segment it just identified. And it doesn't just stop at one size fits all. This agent can split the strategy by channel. Say, email might carry the full story, product education, social proof, and bundle offers, while SMS runs in parallel but keeps it short and urgent, a time-sensitive reminder, a discount code, or a quick link to a buy. Same strategy adapted for the medium, drafted by the agent, polished by your team. Just like the CRO AI agent, it's not sending anything automatically. Your lifecycle team still reviews, edits, and approves, but they're no longer starting from zero. They're starting from structured flows, A/B test ideas, and polished drafts. The output is speed and consistency. Instead of scrambling to come up with the next promo or win back, your team has a steady stream of campaigns and tasks ready to run. So the result? Customers stay longer, spend more time, and your LTV climbs. And in a world where CAC only gets more expensive, that's the advantage that lets you keep scaling. So let's recap. we just covered 6 AI agents for marketing every DTC brand should start building. I know these were a little high level, but let's just go through each one of them. The marketing research AI agent for category insights and competitive maps. Then you have the creative strategist AI agent for brief sprints and testable creative pipelines. Then you have the performance protection AI agent for catching issues same day and not weeks later. The fourth one was the growth marketing analyst AI agent for automating weekly reporting and surfacing insights a human might miss. So the fifth was CRO AI agent for collapsing landing page tests and timelines from weeks to days. And finally, the retention AI agent for maximizing LTVs so you can afford to keep scaling. Together, these form what I call the growth agent ladder. Individually, each one gives leverage, but when they start working together, feeding intelligence into creative into CRO, retention back into analytics, that's when you unlock compounding growth. Now, the big question, how do you build these? Well, I recommend N8N if you want the most power and flexibility, but if you're building them yourself and want something more user-friendly, Make.com or Lindy are great places to start. And these 6 are just the beginning. You can also build an affiliate outreach agent to identify and reach out to partners, a recruiter agent to help you source and vet talent, a meeting notes agent that joins calls, summarizes discussions, and packages them up into weekly action plans, basically an assistant that lives inside Slack. The possibilities are endless. And I just want to make this quick note before we wrap up. There's a big difference between AI tools, GPTs, and AI agents. Tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, and even Manus AI are great for tasks. And then you have GPTs that are custom versions fine-tuned for specific jobs. But AI agents are different. They run end-to-end workflows. They don't just answer a question. They connect to your stack, pull data, make decisions, and deliver outputs without you touching every step. That's why they're so powerful. And let me mention again, if I haven't mentioned earlier in this video, but you don't have to build these yourself. You also don't need a perfect SOP from day one. Just like you're a specialist in a particular area of growth marketing, there are specialists who can build these agents for you. Your job is to know what the process looks like and where the leverage is. Focus on progress, not perfection, and over time, iteration will bring perfection. And let me tell you like a quick story. So I was actually seeking an AI agent coach to teach me and sit with me a few hours per week and just teach me how to build these agents. Then I realized the amount of time investment taking away from my core discipline, which is running ads and growth marketing, the opportunity cost would be huge. And I realized, well, there's specialists for building AI agents and there's specialists like me for growth marketing. And I don't have to be the Renaissance person where you're trying to be an expert in everything and going down that rabbit hole. So I just wanted to take this quick moment to say like, hey, this is an investment into your business and work with these specialists that you don't feel like you have to spend months trying to learn this discipline. It just learn where you would need it, where you would need that leverage. Which brings me to the AI business idea I teased at the start. So drum roll, but I believe there's a widespread opportunity right now for an AI agent agency dedicated to D2C brands in particular. Here's how it works. So you build agents that plug directly into each team, the paid media team, the lifecycle and retention team, the creative team, the analytics team, the ops team, and even the product team. You sit with each team, map the workflows and SOPs, and then identify exactly where AI can plug in. You charge an onboarding fee to scope, design, and implement the agents, and then you add retainer for ongoing improvements and support. And here's why this has such a good upside, in my opinion. Once you land a few good brands, it becomes repeatable. Most D2C teams share the same pain points and processes, so the agents you build for one can be adapted and deployed for others. And when one brand adopts something like this, it spreads like wildfire in the D2C space. D2C is a tight-knit community of founders and operators. Think about how Hook spread through Nick Sharma's network of brands, or how Onnit became the go-to for CRO audits, or how AppLovin for a new growth channel that every brand adopted within what seemed like a few weeks, or Paul Street for brands looking for a fresh take on scaling their affiliate programs. One or two brands adopt it and start working with you, it works, and suddenly everyone wants in. That's a dynamic in the D2C category. Done right, the AI agency could hit mid five figures a month in profit within 6 months to a year with the right execution and relationships. But if the right person wanted to partner, I could provide a lot of strategic guidance and high value intros. If not, take the idea and run with it, right? I'm happy to share and provide as much value as possible because I know how big of a wave this is going to be, and we're still super early. If you found this useful, make sure to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss next week's playbook. I also share deeper breakdowns and templates in my growth marketing newsletter. I'll share the link below. I'm Austin Bitzas. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.